Hello and welcome to everybody who's part of our English program for this week. Allow me to share this program on our Telegram for everybody who follows us there so that they can get the link and join our program, our weekly program. We're going to be talking about where we left off in the part 12 of Jafar As-Sadiq. Just give me 1 second to also connect with that same program on my phone as well, so that in case there is a problem, I can solve it right away and be able to find out what it is and make sure that it's solved for everybody. So give me 1 second to do that as well. All right. Now that I've done that, the next agenda is to bring up where we left off last week. So let me find where we were. We're right here. Okay, viewers, you should get the screen in a few seconds. As usual, it's a little delay before from where I get it to where you get it. I think that's a software thing with Zoom itself, but nevertheless, you should have it. Now you do. So this is where we left off last week, books that they've written recently. And if you remember, in the previous page, they were cursing those who write these books about this donkey, and because they're ashamed of the story. Well, we move forward. And by moving forward, this is Al-Majlisi. Al-Majlisi is one of the big names, okay, of Shia Islamic imams for the rest of the world. So the Shias, they don't call them an imam. You know, they at that time they used to call them sheikhs. Now they've changed that into like al-Uzama and Ayatollah al-Uzama and Marjad. He would be of somebody of that rank. Okay, he wrote many books, and all of today's clergymen in Islam, especially Shia Islam, they learn from him. Sunnis have their own, Shia have their own. They say the same junk, except there is a game that's played. The Sunni will say, well, the Shia said that, we don't accept. And then the Shia will say, well, the Sunni said that, we don't accept. So for each one, you got to bring it from their own book so that they will accept. Hence, here's the name of the book, Mirat al-Uqul. And this is the book. Okay? Volume 3, page 48. And I will go to that volume 3, page 48, and we find it in Arabic. As usual, in Islam, if you want something, they have it in Arabic, and they don't share it. They don't want to translate it. And if they do, only Pakistani. The only language outside Arabic that has more books translated in Islam from Arabic to that language is Urdu. Because outside of all other branches of knowledge, when we talk about religion only, okay, we're not talking about sciences, we're not talking about history, we're not talking about mathematics, we're not talking about physical education, we're not talking about any subject you want to bring in, okay? We're talking about religious studies only. When it comes to religion, you don't have anyone with a lower IQ than a Pakistani. Pakistanis have the lowest IQ when it comes to religious studies. where all you have to do is be born to a certain religion, and that's it. That's the best religion. Everything else is bad. That's how it is for Pakistanis. Nobody else on this planet is as fanatic as a Pakistani is when it comes to not using their brain in religious study. Hence, the Islamic movement has no problem translating to Urdu for the Pakistani, but it has a problem translating it for anybody else. Because others will see the foolishness of it and leave, but the Pakistani brain, because it is unused, completely unused when it comes to religious matters, doesn't pick up on anything. You can tell them that the night color is pink, not black and dark. And they will say, because Islam said it's pink, it's pink. Hence, this book, though written from Shias who are mostly Iranian, it is only kept in Arabic for the sheer threat of people leaving the religion if they translate it. But the guy who found this, and is also, by the way, a Shia Muslim, the reason why he uploaded this and how we have it as well is because this person was getting upset at other Muslims who were making fun out of the story that there was a donkey that belonged to the Prophet of Islam by the name of Yafur, who spoke perfect Arabic, and how many hadiths there are about him, and how all of his ancestors gave rides to other prophets because they were donkey prophets too. And this gentleman was upset why the Shias are making fun out of it, and he wanted to enlighten them of what's in their books. So this guy came and wrote, even if we assume that the incident to be true, it is difficult to understand why the hadith, this tradition, is mocked at when it involves our beloved dumbass prophet, whose name literally is translated as human shit, qatam. Now you know what qatam means? Every time you say qatam, you know what it is, because that's his name for 40 years. Would it seriously be impossible for such an incident to occur, considering numerous miracles took place during the lifetime of the Prophet? Even the followers of the Ahl al-Bayt, those are the Shias, they follow the Ahl al-Bayt. Who are the Ahl al-Bayt? The so-called Imams of the Shia religion, who are supposedly from the same family as the Prophet of Islam. Regard this to be authentic. The hypocritical so-called Ahl-Sunnah, so now he's calling names to the Sunnis, which makes him a Shia, because Sunnis don't call Sunnis names, they call Shias names. Need to take a closer look at themselves, since we find more outlandish literature in their own books. In other words, this guy says, not only is it authentic in our books, it's authentic in their books too. Everyone's covered it. It's authentic everywhere. Right? So everyone knows about Yafur. Everyone knows that Yafur spoke Arabic. Everyone knows Yafur does miracles. And now we learn something new. According to the person who wrote this, as he puts here, incident to occur considering numerous miracles took place during the life of Muhammad. According to this guy, Muhammad did numerous amounts of miracles. And even if he didn't do it, they happened around him. However, according to the Quran, which is the words directly from this Allah that they worship, not the words of anybody else. No one was inspired by it. These are the words like I'm speaking now. Allah spoke them directly. And Allah's pen, which he created before he created anything else, wrote all of it. Then the earth and universe and everything else got created, which is funny because the earth got created before the universe and the earth is inside the universe, which doesn't make any sense because you would have to first create the universe and then have a place in it for the earth, not the other way around. But nevertheless, we digress because that's not the subject today. We don't want to be weird off. The Quran says in multiple parts, and we already showed it when we talked about the father of Jafar As-Sadiq, Muhammad Baqir. During that series, we already showed verse after verse from the Quran that the Quran says Muhammad has no miracles. He's not capable of miracles. He is only a warner. He's not allowed miracles. Miracles were given to previous prophets, but people didn't believe them, so we're not sending any more for this one. In other words, Allah, the God of Islam, took his ball and went home. No more miracles for you. We're not playing no more. However, according to the Muslims, he had miracles, which means that the Quran is wrong, Allah is wrong. Both of them are liars. The book is a lie, and Allah is a lie. Both are liars. So, liar, liar, pants on fire is what turned to be Allah. That's why he doesn't have pants. He wears a veil like a woman because his pants got burnt off for lying. Well, we can either go with this or we can go with the other, but they seem to contradict each other. Sheikh Al-Kulani, one of the big names, even bigger than Majlisi, is this Sheikh Al-Kulani. I've made it bigger, zoomed in, so you can see, you'll probably see it in a few seconds. See Sheikh Al-Kulani. We're going to Sheikh Al-Kulani next. Sheikh Al-Kulani, what does he say? By the way, these names we're going to read, they are all Shia narrators or Hadith traditions. All these are highly accepted narrators. Meaning, when a Hadith is said and in the chain of command you see names like this, that chain is regarded at the very top. Okay? Whatever is said in that is supposed to be very valuable. Okay? Muhammad ibn al-Hussein narrated from Ali, and you see here that they wanted to stretch the word because it should be A-L-I, but they want to stretch it, so they changed it to A-L-E-E to stretch the name. Okay? Ali ibn Muhammad from Salih ibn Zayd, from Muhammad ibn Walid and Shabab and Sayrafi, from Aban ibn Uthman, from Abu, they stretched it again. You see, it should just be ABU, but they stretched it to ABOO. Abu Abdullah. Okay? Who's this Abu Abdullah? Abu Abdullah is, again, another idiot like the descendants of him, who has said the following. Because Abu Abdullah, as we've taught you before, means like the father of Abdullah. When the messenger of Allah was about to die, he called out to Abbas, his uncle, son of Muttalib, and said, and Amir al-Mu'minin, Ali, he called them both. He said, I'm dying, I'm dead now. said to Abbas, "O uncle of Muhammad," because you know, Allah in the Quran talks in the third party. He's always talking about we. And then Muhammad also, you know, he's equal to Allah. That's why you have him in the kalama. You know, when you want to become a Muslim, you have to say you bear witness that there's no God but this foolish Allah. And then you have to also say that you bear witness, you know, witness with your eyes. You know, you saw, you witnessed. So you witnessed Allah, who they tell you that no one can see him, but you witnessed him. And then you have to also witness with your eyes that Muhammad, qatam, piece of human shit, is what qatam means, was and is the messenger of that Allah. You have to have witnessed both. I don't know how you do that nowadays because no one sees Allah according to Muslims. And Muhammad got eaten by dogs and is buried. The only thing left is a forearm and a piece of shin. Everything else got eaten. So how did you witness this forearm and piece of shin when it was alive 1,400 years ago, and you witnessed it 1,400 years after? I don't know how you did that. But according to them, you have to say that to become a Muslim. He also likes to talk in third party. He's equal to God. What do you expect? Everything's in threes, apparently. And then they say that they have a problem with the Trinity. But everything is in threes. Anyway, back to his story over here, according to Khulani. He said to him, "Will you inherit the legacy of Muhammad, pay his debts, fulfill his promises and commitments?" In other words, Muhammad is admitting, I took loans from people, but I never paid them back. I ran the whole time. I made promises, but I just don't keep them. I'm a liar. Liar, liar, pants on fire. That's why he also never wore pants. He wore the Arabic dress that I've done. So here's the thing. We taught you, just like in the military, where they have different rankings, show how great they are. Muslims have rankings. The Prophet of Islam gave them illiterate. They don't know. They don't know knowledge. Called them dumb. They don't understand even when you tell them the knowledge. They don't get it. They can read it, but they don't understand it. They're donkeys because they're like a donkey. You can't do anything with them. They're donkeys. That was given by Jafar As-Sadiq. How? Through this, the hadith of the donkey that spoke and became a prophet for them. Donkey is a prophet for donkeys because he's a donkey. So Muslims believe him as a prophet. Muslims are donkeys. That's how we got that one. And now you've learned the next ranking. Liar. So that's the next one. It's important you to write these down and learn them because we're going to do a test about them and you're going to find out why they're important to know. Don't believe anything they tell you. Muslims lie when it comes to religion. They lie more than any other creature that you can think of that is associated with lying. Okay. And what did Abbas, the uncle of the Prophet, do? He responded, "Oh, Qatam, may your statue God, Allah, take my soul and the soul of my dead parents in service for your cause. I am an old man." The same thing that Ali Khamenei did in Iran when Ahmadinejad became the president and cheated his way in, and they fixed it for him, and the people came out in over 1 million in crowds in Tehran, and they had to pour acid on them from the top using helicopters, and they had to shoot them from the bottom and all kind of stuff, and they killed that lady Nida, and it became wide news everywhere. Remember that time? That's the same time Obama was president, Remember that time? So during that time, Khamenei came out in order to stop the procession and all these people that are walking around and everything. He said, I'm an old man. I'm a crippled man. Because, one of his hands stopped working. I'm a crippled man. Have mercy on my hand. Same thing here. Uncle of Muhammad says, right here, I'm an old man with a large number of dependents, with very little belongings. I have nothing almost. I will give them away to whoever would want to take them along. The responsibility. That's what he did. When he saw that Muhammad has loans he hasn't paid. He's promised, but he never showed up. He's committed, but he never showed up. And now all this has to be taken care of. All of a sudden, this guy who has a family the size of an army, because all day long, all they did during the time of the Prophet is eat, have sex, reproduce, so that you can have more kids. And then you need more slaves for your kids. Now all of a sudden, he's poor. He can't do anything. He has all these kids to take care of. Oh, ho, ho. Don't trust a Muslim. They will lie. They'll do anything to get out of anything. He, the messenger of Allah, police and FBI be on him, said, I will give them away to whoever. Then the Holy Prophet said, Ali, brother of Muhammad, like he's not Muhammad, will you pay off the liabilities of Muhammad? Muhammad is talking like Muhammad is some guy named Yusuf, and then there is Muhammad on his deathbed, and this Yusuf is talking to Ali about this Muhammad. Third party. It doesn't say, oh, Ali, will you do these things for me? No. Will you do it for Muhammad? You see how arrogant this guy is? And they say he's a great prophet. Yeah. Let's see what he does. This so-called great prophet. Let's see what he does. And he said, yes, may this statue of Allah take my soul and the soul of his dead parents who were also dead. I don't know why they have to go back and take the soul of dead people. The dead people are already dead. Their soul is already taken from them. I mean, you give up a soul of something that's live. When you're dead, your soul is separated from you. What is the meaning of saying, I'm going to give the soul of my dead family member? I mean, their soul is already given. You can't give it again. It's already given. If I give you this pen and you take it, I don't have it anymore. How am I going to give it to you again? You have it. When I say they're dumb and it's one of their ranks, this is why. They read it and they say it. And they don't find the problem in what they read. They don't understand, if this is my soul and I'm dead, that means this soul got taken away from this hand, like this. Now, there is no soul left. What soul are you giving away? They don't get it. You can tell them, you can draw it, you can use, like I do, different material to show them, and it goes right over their head. They don't get it. Okay? That's why they have that ranking. It's not like we're saying something because we want to make fun out of somebody. So we're pointing out so that you learn when you're studying Islam from this university that you're sitting in, because what I teach you, universities don't dare teach you. So we got to teach you the real knowledge. So this is the real university. When you sit at this university for free and you are learning, there is a reason we give these names and titles. Not to make fun out of them, but so that you will understand and not fall for them. Back to where we were and what was being said. Said, yes, I'll give the sole of my pants for your service and cause. It might be a responsibility. Then Ali says, because Ali also has to talk in the third party. I looked at him and saw him take off his ring from his finger, and he said to me, wear this ring in my lifetime. Muhammad went like this, took off his ring. He didn't really want to take it off, but took it off. Gave it to Ali, and Ali right away put it on. And he started looking at it. And he looked, and he kept looking at it. And he looked at his hand, and he looked at the ring, and he looked at his hand, and he looked at the ring, and he looked at his hand, and he goes, oh my goodness. You've seen women when they put the nail polish on their finger, and it dries up, and they look at it, and it's their first time, and it's like so pretty for them, and they keep looking at it. There's a little kid, they keep looking. Ali was doing the same thing. He got the ring, he kept looking at it, he kept looking at it, upside, downside, up, sideways, every way. You don't believe me? Wait. Ali said, I looked at the ring when I wearing it on my finger, and I wished to have it out of all his property. He then called on Bilal. Remember, Bilal was not his companion. Bilal was his African slave. Whose slave? Muhammad's slave. Who's Muhammad? The father of Islam. He called upon Bilal loudly. You don't call your friend, you don't scream and yell at your friend. You don't call his name by yelling. You don't yell, Steve! You don't do that. You don't yell at your coworker. You don't yell at the bus driver. You don't yell at your Uber driver. You don't yell at the guy that's working in the produce in the grocery store. You yell at your slave because you can. And he has no choice but to take it. So when they tell you Bilal was free, it's all a lie. There was no free. Abu Bakr paid. Bilal was purchased for Muhammad. So he screamed, loudly, calling his name loudly and screaming, Bilal, bring my helmet, the coat of arms, the flag, the t-shirt, the two-headed sword, Zulfiqar. Bring me the turban. Bring me the rest of the clothes. Bring me the belt. If your companion, your friend comes to your house, you don't tell him to go get your clothing. You have him sit in your dining room, in your living room. You watch the game. You eat some food. You play some cards. You go out for a movie. You don't tell him to go get your t-shirts and your underwears and your belt and where is he going to go? How does he know where they are? But your slave does. Your slave puts everything away. Your slave knows where everything is. Even you might not know, but your slave puts them all away, so he knows. So Bilal is a slave. Any black person that hears this, remember, Islam was deep into this slave business. Deep. Like they took a dive into it. Arabs coming out of 1400 years ago till today, the Arabs, they took a dive into it. And they made everybody a slave. The Persians became a slave. The so-called Pakistani of today, which was at that time Persia and India, became a slave. Turks became a slave. Palestinians who were not even Arab became a slave and today became even Arab. Egyptians who were not Arab became Arab through that slavery. All the way down to Morocco, which was never Arab. They were all Berbers and they all became slaves and they killed whoever they couldn't get and they populated their Arab size. And why I say size? Because the size of their territory grew, their language grew. They cover a bigger area with their language. Everything they do is measured in size. So they reached a longer length. Hence, size. Back to what we were talking about here. Poor slave Bilal went and got all these things. And what happened? Let's move up further and see. Here Ali says, I had never before seen that belt. Ali, who lived with Muhammad since he was a little baby, grew up with this Muhammad, is at his house on a daily basis. They go to the mosque together, they come back home together, they eat together, they sleep together, they do everything together. Ali, who has the power and the ability to divorce Muhammad's wives on his behalf, who are not really wives, they're sex contracts, because that's all it is, nikah. This guy says, I've never seen this belt. By the way, history that they've taught you is wrong. They taught you these guys came out of Saudi Arabia and they expanded. No, they came out of Petra. They invaded Iranian territory. You had the Byzantine and the Iranians. The Iranians had the Lakhmites, and on the other side, you had some Arabs that were under the Byzantine side. When you came further down south into that region, where today is known as Saudi Arabia, UAE, Kuwait, all of that was Lakhmite territory. In that Lakhmite territory, you had little villages set up throughout the desert so that the Iranian military can get to Yemen, which was another territory state under the hand and power of Iran. It operated as part of Iran for over 1,000 years. They used to get fed from Iran, because in the desert, what are you going to eat? Their clothing came from Iran. Everything came from Iran. They were as the people of Iran, except different. They were not Iranian, but they were under the empire of Iran. For this path of villages that were set up, the people that lived in it were majority Iranian Jews. Why they lived there? Because it's close to Jerusalem as well. They had a unification between them and their brothers who lived in Jerusalem. That is why the Jews of Jerusalem always helped the Iranians in the wars between Iran and the Byzantine. Muhammad attacked these Iranian Jews, invaded their lands, killed them, looted all of their belongings, including the ring and including the belt. Nothing was spared. Iranian work is well known even till today. Bronze work, handmade products. Today it's hard to sell it because of Islamic Republic of Iran. But if you go to the city of Isfahan, for example, you will see lots of it. People do that until today. They're well known for it. It's in the museums. Go look at it. What they stole from the Iranians and they wore on their fingers used to blow their minds. The lifestyle of the Iranians of that time, they described as the lifestyle of heaven. Go and read Surah Al-Rahman, the chapter Rahman. And when the statue Allah is describing living in heaven, describes the exact lifestyle of the Iranians of that time. Go look at it. In Iran at that time, they used to wear, if you were rich, you had a whole wristband, like today you wear a wristband here, a little one. But that was more like a forearm band because it would come from here to here. It would cover your whole hand and it would be out of gold. If you didn't have that much money, you had it in silk. That bracelet type thing that covers from elbow to wrist is in Surah Rahman. When you go to heaven, that's what this Allah is going to give you. At that time, Iranians used to sit on a big chair that today you would describe as a sofa or a love seat. That's what Allah, the statue God of Islam, is going to give you in heaven. When the Iranians used to eat at that time, all their family members would gather and they would eat like a tribe, and the Arabs would look at it and say, man, these guys got money. They look at it, they live large. If food got spilled, it got spilled. If wine got spilled, it got spilled. That's why in Surah Al-Rahman, you have it. There will be rivers of wine and rivers of milk. Whatever the Iranians did at that time, they put in their dreams of what they want their heaven to look like. Arabs of that time used to dream for it. Not the Arabs of today, who stand on the necks of Iranians. Not today's Arabs. Get the timeline straight. We're talking 1,400 years ago. And nobody will teach you that. You won't listen to it in an Arab university. You won't listen to it in an Iranian university. You won't listen to it out here in the West. Why? Because there's agendas there that they need to cover. They can't let the truth out. They can give you bits and pieces, but they hope you never put the puzzle together. You're only allowed to just see little pieces here and there. But here, in our free university, we will teach you the right path, the true path. That which you need to know that nobody will tell you. And that truth is going to set you free. What happens next? Now the mullahs, the clergymen need to come up with an excuse. They need a story. Why? Because they said that this is a built never seen. And now they got to make up a story of how Muhammad has a miracle somehow. So let's listen to this brilliant story and let's see how much you will laugh. I hope you have your popcorn ready, because here comes the story that's going to make you laugh. Ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen and ladies, people around the world who will see this, including little kids. Ali says, Jibreel, the archangel Gabriel, brought this for me. For who? For Muhammad. but Ali is saying it. Okay, not Muhammad, Ali saying it. I mean, Jibreel brought this for Muhammad. Instead of Muhammad saying it, Ali, who has nothing to do with this, is saying this on behalf of Muhammad and on behalf of Jibreel. Okay. Place it in the ring. Okay, what did he place? Place the belt. You know the belt you wear around your pants. Place the belt. He placed the belt in the ring. In the ring. Ring. You see the ring? See how small it is? Ring. You put a whole belt in the ring. Then what happened, ladies and gentlemen? Let's see. Where were we? Placed it in there and put the ring in the sleeve of his armor, like that. So now the ring is inside the armor, you see? And then what did he do? And use it as a belt around your midsection. So now you take this armor sleeve and you put that around your midsection. What the heck is this? What kind of nonsense is this? All right, what do we do next? One of them was already stitched. Oh, we missed a piece. Then he asked to bring 2 pairs of Arabian shoes. He brought them along with the shirt. Now, Arabs don't wear shoes. They wear slippers. What happened next? One of them was already stitched. That's the shirt. And the other was not yet stitched. That's the slippers. It was the shirt with which he took to Isra. Who took to Isra? Muhammad. What is Isra? Isra is the night journey where he supposedly got on a different donkey, which is like a stretch limousine type donkey. And that donkey had wings, but the wings were close to his anus. And he flew like this. Yes, donkey that flies. And that donkey took him to heaven to visit his Allah. Okay. The shirt, while wearing, came down to Uhud. Like when he was at the war battle of Uhud, day of Uhud, Muhammad wore it on that day too. And he wears this shirt everywhere. He says only shirt. 3 caps were brought. The caps used while on the journey. Okay, he brought all of these things, right? And after he brought all this, he gave it all to Ali. Now, who brought all this out for him? Poor Bilal over here. Poor Bilal was then sent where? You know, if your companion comes, you're not going to make him do all your housework. But there's not a companion. It's a slave. Bring us 2 mules, right? The gray one and Duldul, and 2 camels, right? And here are the names. And 2 horses, and here are the names. The horses were kept near the door of the mosque. Why? Muhammad's busy having sex all the time, and we can't go do anything. So if someone needs to go do some work for him, he has to sit on a horse and go. You don't believe me? Whenever he would need anything, he would let a man ride on it to go for the task. How can you go and do your own work when you have over 360 women that you are doing boom boom with? Night and day, day and night, night and day, day and night. Let's make a song now, because you know songs today are like that. You just say the same thing over and over again and say I'm fast, and then you know you put some music behind it, and there you go, you got a song. So we can make a song. Night and day, day and night, day and day, day and night. Just make a song. All right. And then what happened? We are almost out of time, but we're going to finish with the rest of what this Al-Khulaini is telling us. And the horses would run for the needs of the messenger. Also, and then he names again for another donkey and another donkey. And he says that they were given to him. Take possession of these in my life. Muhammad said to Ali, ooh, he gave him everything. The story that they tell you that Ali used to not spend money anywhere and he would stitch up his holes of his shoes and keep stitching them. No, he didn't stitch them because they were full of holes and he wanted to rewear them. The slipper with a hole was given to him as a gift. He was trying to stitch it so there would be no hole so he could wear it. It wasn't because he's trying to save money and he's thinking of the poor. No, no, no. He just got it as a gift and you saw it. Imam Ali said, what did he say? What did he say? We want to know what Ali said. You know, all the Shias, they're based on Ali. Shiatul Ali is the name. Followers of Ali. Ali teaches them the religion that came from Muhammad. So let's see what he said. What he said. Ali said, the first one of the animals which died was Yafur. Muhammad gave all these to Ali, and right after he gave it to him, the first animal that died was Yafur, the donkey of the Prophet, who died within the same hour that the messenger died. He broke off his bound until he began to run until he came. I don't know why he writes until twice. Doesn't make any sense. But anyway, that's how he wrote it. Came to the well of Banu Khatima in Quba and threw himself into the in it, and it became his grave. So not only did he kill himself, committing suicide, as a prophet donkey, he knows by committing suicide he's going to hell. Not only did he do that, but he did it in a well in Arabia, where water is in dire need, hence making that water not drinkable. So he also caused suffering on people of a different area who had nothing to do with the death of this shit prophet, Gata. What else did he do? It is narrated by Amir al-Mu'mineen. That's Ali, right? That the Shias say they built their whole religion on. The donkey spoke to the messenger of this statue of Allah, saying, may statue of Allah take my soul, the donkey soul, and the souls of my parents, meaning the donkey's parents who are already dead. And we already explained about the soul. In service for your cause. My father, the donkey's father, related to me, to the donkey, from his father, okay? Meaning the grandfather of Yafur. From his grandfather, which is the great-grandfather of Yafur, right? From his father, okay? And this continuously goes. Who lived with Noah in the ark, okay? Once Noah came to him, that donkey, the one that lived with Noah, okay? Don't get this confused with the donkey in the movie where, you know, he lives with an ogre. Don't confuse the two, okay? The donkey that lived with the ogre is smarter than this one. But anyway, who came to him and whipped him. Noah whipped the donkey, you know, for absolutely no reason. He just, you know how Noah was. I mean, Noah just walked around and whipped everybody. You know, he just went, he was a whip master, you know. Noah whipped the donkey on his back and said, from the descendants of this donkey, there will be a donkey on whose back the master and the last of the prophets, fake prophets, by the way, will ride. And this donkey, Yafur, is saying, I thank the statue of Allah who has made me that donkey. Where do we find this? This, which is highlighted in red. Where do we find it? I'm blowing it up for you guys so everybody can see it. Source, Al-Kafi, Volume 1, page 140. Though you will have to look for it in its Arabic, because in anything other than the Arabic, you will not find it, or it'll be very hard to find. Al-Kafi, for the Shias, after the Quran, Al-Kafi is the book. Okay? We have several books. Mafati al-Janan is a book for prayers that are not part of worship prayer, but need prayers. Al-Kafi is the book for the Hadith, which teaches Islam. Also, before I say that, YouTube likes to play lots of games. It's been several weeks now when we start our program, they somehow cut the live chat so that no one can put anything in there. And then you got to continuously press retry, and then it opens up and it'll cut it off again. It's not me that does that. YouTube's doing that. It's part of their way of fighting us. The Persian language that I put, according to Telegram, the link for the YouTube program that I put on the Telegram shows that over 11,000 people watch it on a weekly basis. And yet YouTube says only 170 people saw it. And that's just the Persian. I don't know how many are seeing it on the English, because I put it everywhere else too. It's in Twitter, it's in Reddit, it's all over the place. So people are going to click on it. And YouTube likes to play its games, because YouTube has to protect Islamic Republic of Iran. YouTube has to protect Islam. And YouTube also wants to deny people from hearing what we're doing, because the more people see it, the more that number goes up, the more the YouTube bots have to share this, and the more people will hear it, and the more people will save themselves from falling in this hole called Islam. But of course, YouTube plays the games. We see you, YouTube, and we call you out, and now everybody else sees you. So play your games as you like. Doesn't bother us. We are still marching forward in the message of truth. Al-Kafi is the biggest book for the Shia after the Quran. Volume 1, meaning the first book that was written by Al-Kulaini, 140th page of Volume 1. You will find it. Until next week, I leave you in the hands of Jesus, and we will see you next week with part 13 of this, what I think will be probably about 20, maybe more, maybe a little less series of Jafar As-Sadiq, the stripper. And we will show you later on why he was a stripper. Until next week, I leave you in the hands of Jesus.